Following Monday's victory over MK Dons, Blues boss Gary Rowett was pleased his side made it back-to-back home wins, as well as welcoming back some senior players to his starting 11.
For us, to win at home again was a huge thing, to win back-to-back games at home when we've obviously not been as good at home this season results-wise. I'm sure will give everyone a huge amount of confidence, and actually turns the run we've been on into not a bad run. 2 wins, 2 draws and a defeat in the last 5 games. So it's actually quite a positive period for us, and we're getting players back. So I think it's been really, really positive. For us to be able to bring back in the likes of Clayton and the likes of Robbo and Stephen Gleeson back into the team, I think had a huge impact for us. So, but pleased with the way the squad's coped so far over that busy period, and I think the Championship with the FA Cup coming up, doesn't get that much easier. But I think once we get through the next sort of 4 or 5 games, it then goes Saturday to Saturday for about six games. So I think it's about digging in and get through this period, getting a few bodies in, and then seeing where we are in 4 or 5 games time. Dave Cottrell's probably not going to make it for this weekend. His knee's fine. He was due to be on the bench for Sheffield Wednesday, and he just felt his hamstring tighten up a little bit towards the end of training the day before. Or rather the day before it was Christmas Eve. So we left it up until Boxing Day. We just didn't feel it was worth the risk at that point, and then of course the MK Dons game coming so soon after. So we just felt the benefit for him to try and get a full week's training in. Might be too soon for the Brentford game, but again, we'd hope that he'd be all right for the Bournemouth Cup game. His knee's been fine. Obviously hasn't been tested thoroughly yet, but his knee's been fine. It's elsewhere that often you get a little bit of muscular injury after being out for a while. It's not uncommon.
Now with just under half the season remaining, Rowett wants to make sure his side keep in touch with the top 6.
Well, you want to keep touch with the top 6, but I think there's a long way to go this season. There's 22 games left. That's 66 points. That's an inordinate amount of points to gain, and I think it's about us. Last season we finished 10th. I think I read something recently where I think after 33 games last season we had 38 points. We're 24 games in and we've got 36 points. So I think for me you've got one eye on progress and you've got another eye on that top 6. So I think for us it's about just keep picking points up, keep being competitive, and I'm sure if we do that by the end of the season, coming into the last maybe 10 games, we'll be still in there with a shout of something.
As Blues look to kick off 2016 with a win, the manager is well aware of the threat that Brentford possess.
Had a slow start to the season. Obviously, changed manager. I think Carzo did a fantastic job in getting them back up and running, and then Dean's obviously taken over for the long term. I think Dean's done a great job at Walsall, played a very good brand of football, very attacking, possession-based brand of football, which I think fits in perfectly with Brentford's model. I expect him to continue that good work. We're going to have to make sure that defensively we're very strong against some good attacking players. But again, as we showed against MK Dons, when we play with a little bit of quality, we've also got players in the final third that can hurt any team. When you see John Terrell, when you see Clayton, when you see Jacques Magoma playing that way, and you can add Demari to that, and young Viv Solomon Otterbourne and James Vaughan, that we've got some excellent players in those areas. But when we get our game together, as we have done pretty often, particularly this last year, then we can be a very good team against anyone.